Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Two From Home preview. We've got racing from Wincanton and Aintree. We can see Harry's excited about the racing at Del Mar. If you're interested in American racing, give this lad a follow. He's an expert. Jay Dutton's back on the podcast this week. Jay, I think you're at Aintree, are you, this weekend?
Yeah, I'm there on Saturday.
Good stuff. So we're going to start off with Wincanton at the 225, which is the Mayor's Handicap Hurdle. Jay, do you want to have first crack?
Yeah, hopefully get us off to a winner, yeah. The Amber King mare, Win House, she's currently 6-1. I think she's got ideal conditions here today. Well, on Saturday, she's got good ground. She's going right-handed and she's back to 2 mile 5. If you look at her form figures going right-handed, it's second, first, second. But if you watch a race at Doncaster, it was over 3 miles, but she was jumping out of her hurdles quite noticeably, so like halfway around, and just got on the back of me head. She is better suited to going right-handed anyway. She's tried 3 miles twice and never really seen the trip out. She can be a bit keen as well over 3 miles, and I think coming back here to 2 mile 5 is perfect for her. Perfect myth should be the pace angle, so that'll rule out any keenness issues. She's quite all right to ride over this trip as well. She looked an easy ride. She's a 6-year-old, and since 2010, 7 6-year-olds have won this race, including the last 3 years. I think the last year in the jumps preview, I put up Rosa Arcadia as my horse to follow. I'm shocked that she's still hanging around over hurdles. I thought, especially being by Tizard as well, I thought she'd have been over the fence by now. And I did look at her, but I don't think she wants good ground. I think she really wants it testing. But yeah, Win House, I reckon, straight win.
Nice 6-1 poke from Jay there. Harry, what do you fancy?
Yeah, when Jay was saying about the Tizard horse there, and I really like her in this. Thing for me, she may not like the top of the ground, but she's got look. She comes off here at 10-4. Tizards are in flying form lately with Fiddler on the roof and Eldorado Allen landing the big ones. And you just got to have a look. Look at the last run, 5th in a grade 2. She ran really well that day. And I just think you just got to put 2 and 2. Tizards in form. She gets off a featherweight. Brendan Powell's absolutely riding out of his skin. And I think 5-1, it'd probably be short on the day. And like I said, with all things ticking the boxes, I think he's a good bet, 5-1.
5-1 from Harry there. I was disappointed to see Martello Sky head elsewhere. I thought she had a chance of going back-to-back. Sorry, not back-to-back, Lucy Wadham going back-to-back. But the one I like is further down the betting, and that is Kisses for Katie. Course and distance winner. Fantastic each-way bet, in my opinion. 6th in the 2019 Aintree Mares Bumper. She's got strong novice hurdle form. She was beaten 4 lengths by Sporting John, Harry Senior, and Bullionaire. That's hot novice form, in my opinion. She hasn't been seen for a year, which is a slight negative, but Lorcan Williams is on board, and I'm hopeful she can run a big race. So yeah, that Kisses for Katie for me. I think William Hill got a price of about 9-1. So for me, that's a great each-way value. So we move from the 225 Wincanton to the 3 o'clock Wincanton. A fantastic race. Harry, set us off.
Yeah, I'm going with last year's winner, El President, for Kim Bailey. I just think it's one of those. Although the form's held off a bit last season and come back with a 4 perfect when looking well held, I just think, although up in the weights, form around the track is key. Kim Bailey, slow start to the season, but he's been banging in a few winners of late. And it's not a strong fancy, but in a race where it's quite trappy, 10-1, won by Shorehead last year, and I'm hoping he'll be doing the same this year.
This race always throws a fantastic finish. And Jay, have you got anything to be involved in the finish this year?
I found this race a proper head scratcher. It took me ages to try and find anything to even have a little stab at on this, to be honest. Obviously, when you look at a race like this, Paul Nicholls does really well. He's got the favourite, but I'm not sure the favourite's going to really want good ground, to be honest with you. He's more of a soft ground horse, so he was one of the reasons I struggled with him. The one I did actually come down on, it's not a confident selection by any means, but like last season, nothing went right for the Tizard really, and then the year before that. Of all the gin drinks, 12-1, I thought that had a bit of a feeler each way. This horse's record over 3 mile and fences isn't actually that bad when you look at it. His only win over fences coming Exeter off 136, and he runs here off 137. And then his run at Aintree behind Happy Go Lucky was a lot better than that looked, and he was rated 141 that day. And what I found quite interesting was when you go on Wincanton's top trainers in the last 3 years on over chasers, Tizard is actually second in the rankings. He's had 76 runners, 10 winners and 27 places. And I think that's great considering I can't really remember Tizard having 10 winners in the last 3 years, never mind at one track. Pretty good going for him, that. And then this also got first time blinkers to hopefully give him a new lease of life. He does lack a bit of experience as some of the others, but at 12-1 in a race where he's question marks against a lot of them, I'd be prepared to give him a little chance.
I'm going for one of the old boys in the field, and that's the 10-year-old Sun Chaos. He's fifth in the race last year. Arguably could have been closer, but he just got in close to the third last and fourth last, and it kind of like he was just on the back foot a little bit. His course form figures are second, first, and fifth. He won his seasonal debut in like authoritative fashion. Yes, it was a veteran chase, but he won it well, and he arrives here at the very top of his game. I think that's what sways me towards him. He arrives here, bang on form. If he jumps fluently, he goes very close, in my opinion.
Do you know what, Joe? He was actually the second one on my list, but the fact he's off a career high mark now at the age of 10 just put me off him a little bit. 147, you think he's got that in him, yeah?
I do, yeah. Just because he comes here full of confidence. The way he won last time out, admittedly a veteran chase, but he arrives here in form, which can't be said for the others.
He did win it well as well, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what sways me towards him. Like you say, it's a competitive race, but some chaos for me. So we move on now to 3:35 at Wincanton. I think we're all going to agree who's going to win this, and I want Jay to tell me who's not going to win it. I know there's one horse in here that me and Jay don't really like, do we, Jay? You want to start us off?
Me and you are the same in this. There's one horse we both really love and one horse we just don't like. What can we really say about So Royale? He's just so consistent, isn't he? He spent most of his life at the top level. These sort of races, the type of race he's just going to mop up, isn't he? He's won this twice before. On good ground, he's probably not a track anywhere that suits him better than this. Goshen will probably set a nice strong pace for him to aim at. And I just expect to see Daryl Jacob just come cruising up in the straight over the last two and just pick him off easily. He literally ticks every single boxes. There's no negatives about him. The ground's ideal for him. It's not ideal for Goshen. The only thing, I think he'd be the oldest winner of this race if he wins this. But honestly, 11-8, I just think he's going to win it and probably win it well.
Yeah, there's not much I can add to that apart from So Rare. He's just the pocket rocket. He's an absolute superstar, in my opinion. Harry, you join us?
Yeah, I'll make it free. So Royale, 11-8 is stupid price in a minute. It should be odds on. If you're backing Goshen at 9-4, you've absolutely lost your conkers because I don't think he's even going to finish in the first three. So if you want to play an exotic bet, maybe a forecast with Belfast Banter.
Yeah, in a way, you've got to respect like Belfast Banter when he comes over here. He's always coming over here to collect some prize money, isn't he? Here's a question for you both. Say So Real hacks up Saturday and the ground remains good in December and the Tingle Creek comes round. Fair enough, he might not be on Shiski's level, but is he warrant a run in the Tingle Creek again?
Yeah.
I wouldn't see why not. I think he'd probably need a miracle for good ground for the Tingle Creek, but I think he definitely deserves to line up in there. Got no problems, fences or hurdles, it all comes the same to him, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So that's it from Wincanton. We move on to Aintree now. So we've gone from good ground at Wincanton to what could be quite testing stuff up at Aintree. We're going to start off with the 140. Jay, it's on your home track. You want to start us off at Aintree?
Yeah, there's only William Hill who've got this race priced up at the minute, and they've got Your Darling, the 9-4 favourite. I think you might get a little bit bigger for him on the day. I was expecting him to be priced up around 3-1. But he's just a typical horse. He's going to be one of them horses that's going to be a stone or two better over fences. And when you watch his chasing debut, it was an okay race, but it was more the style which he done it. He was attacking his fences. He was travelling strongly. Luca Morgan was taking pulls. He had that race won at every fence. He was ready to go. Them Aintree fences are really stiff and it'll catch a few horses out on Saturday, but I'm looking forward to actually seeing him around there. I think he's going to really suit the course. It was a bit like, the only way I could describe it was like, I don't know whether you've seen the race or not, but it was like watching like a lower quality version of Sprinter Sacre. He was literally faultless. And I think it's time he'll go and kick on now and show some of that early promise that saw him back in from 25-1 to 9-2 when he ran away with a Newbury bumper.
confident selection from Jay there. Harry?
Yeah, I'm going with a Skelton one. It's going to butt the trend for Aintree, but it's Breakstown. You just got to have a look at some of the horses he's ran behind. Sam Spinner, Dasher Drasher, Champ Gelvin, and Imperial Aura. Classy horses there. Finished 5th on his last run in Northern Trust Handicap at the festival. And just for me, you've got to have a look. He's only having his 11th start. He's got so much more potential to give this season. And you know what the Skeltons are like in a minute. They're in red hot form. And I think 11-2 might drift on a day or might get smashed in. But I said currently 11-2 is more than a fair price for a horse. I think it's got a lot more potential this season.
Beats time for Harry. I'm going to go with Hooligan for Tom George and Johnny Burke. Like the race 6-year-old, he had some satisfactory hurdle form last season in April when he went across to France. I think he finished about 6 lengths behind Le Berry, but he was giving Le Berry plenty of weight that day. So that hurdle form is strong on a line through him. And I just think over fences, it could be the making of him. Tom George, his season has yet to kick on yet, and I'm hoping this lad could kickstart his season. But also, this Hooligan, he's got the potential to be the new flag bearer for the yard. Some of the old boys in his yard are getting on a bit, and careers coming to an end. This lad over fences, he could be above average. So I'm hopefully Hooligan is going to really announce himself on the scene on Saturday. So we move on to Aintree's highlight race, which is the Grand Sefton over the national fences. This is always a brilliant race, and I'm kind of glad it's moved from the December card to this. It just gives it more of under the spotlight a bit more. Harry, you going to go first?
Yeah, I haven't got a strong opinion on this race whatsoever. If I was going to have a small each way bet, it'd be on the Wester weight. Has some decent form in Ireland. But one question I want to give to you, lads, is David Maxwell going to get round? Will we speak about him on it?
Don't underestimate David Maxwell's record around the national fence. It's better than you think, you know.
I know, but you got to admit he's a fan favourite round there. So the question I said.
I actually quite like last year's winner, Hogan's Heights, for Jamie Stone and Paige Fuller. Far from the national itself in April, warmed up Saturday in a hurdle race, £4 higher mark to contend with compared to last year's running. But this would have been his aim for a long, long time. This is his national. Yeah. They know he's not going to win the actual real thing. This could be his race, and I think he's been trained very much with this to win. And I think 15-2 is huge each way value. I honestly can't see him finishing out the first 3. And I think Hogan's Heights gets very close to winning back-to-back and then probably heads to the Beecher next month. Jay?
Talking of the Beecher, I think time to get up would be better suited going to the Beecher than here. I don't know whether he'd have the speed for 2 mile 5. He's what?
It's a bit short.
Yeah. What was it? The Midlands National he won, wasn't it? And then another 3 in a 3 mile 2 race around Wincanton on heavy ground.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether he'd have the speed for this. I wouldn't be keen on him. He's carrying enough weight as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
I don't think this is that good of a race, to be honest. What I was looking at, the one you said, Hogan's Height, there's a stat that I quite like for this race. It's a little bit different now because it's moved a bit earlier in the season, so ground and that changes and stuff. But 7 of the last 10 winners had raced over the national fences before. Obviously, he's one of them. Senior Citizen's the other one. He's 6-1. He's come under a little bit of support the last couple of days. Senior Citizen. He was 3rd in the top of last season, but he was held up that day and he stayed on strongly all the way to the line. Although he never had a chance with the winner, but I think hopefully they'll ride him more positively, give him a clear sight of his fences, and if he gets round, I think he could win this and probably win it well, unless there's something up like lurking off the mad handicap mark that I've missed, which I'm pretty sure there isn't. I think even if you run to the form of that market raising run, I think that should be enough for them to win this. And I quite liked after that race what he won at market raising. The interviewed Alan King, and Alan King wouldn't be a big one for giving horses targets, and that's straight after races. And straight away he just said, yeah, he'll be going back for the Sefton over the national fences. And I like that. And I think, I just don't, looking through that race, there's not really damn feeling.
No, I looked through this race and I compared it to last year's renewal, and I actually think last year's was a bit stronger.
Possibly was, yeah.
And packed up there by 16 lengths. I mean, he runs here off a £4 higher mark than that. Yeah. If he can match that, he'll go very close indeed. That's what swung me his way. So we move on from the Grand Sefton to the Betway Hurdle, won last year by Somerville Boy. Harry, what's going to win the Betway Hurdle this year?
Yeah, I was going to go to the younger horse. What about Oscar? Hey, had loads of potential when he first started. Showed a bit over that when he went out to hurdles. And for me, he's lightly raced. Last thing finished in 19th out of 22 here in a grade 3. He's going to love the ground being nice and heavy. Like I said, he's a winner from 9 starts. And I just think at 130, he's only a 6-year-old. You've got to go for here. He's racing against all the horses, gets a bit of weight off 11-2. And I just think he's a fair price, maybe short on the day.
There's one here, Martello Sky, I spoke about earlier. She had the option of the mare's herd at Wincanton, and she comes here, and that itself has got me thinking, why has she come here instead of there? I know prize money, etc. On rating, she isn't good enough, but she's only 5, so the improvement's possible against some horses who are trying to get their careers back on track. So she's just one to keep an eye on, especially in the betting. But one for me, however, to win this is Somerville Boy. Former Supreme Novices, obviously hurdle winner. He won this last year when fresh. Fresh is the best time to catch him. I think when you go through his actual form over this trip, he seems to be most successful at. And he runs his better races at this trip. So I think Somerville Boy to go back to back, now's the time to catch him. And I think 7-2, William Hill. That's quite a nice price, Somerville Boy. Jay?
I think most of these in here go well fresh, don't they? I know the favourite does, Somerville Boy does. I'd be against Somerville Boy though, to be honest, Joe. It's like, couldn't remember the last time Tom George trained a winner.
Yeah, is that?
He's struggled, hasn't he, recently? The one I like, and I think he's an absolutely wild price in this, is If the Cap Fits at 8-1. He's come back to the track where he had his only grade 1 success. He's a flat track horse. So obviously Aintree, we already know suits him. He's had 12 starts over hurdles, won 6 of them and placed twice. He's pretty consistent horse. I think just completely ignore his last 2 starts there at the Cheltenham Festival and at Aintree. Wasn't fair on him really. He'd been chasing all season and then they brought him back hurdling like 2 months before and never ideal. He'd been given a break and brought back hopefully with the plan to stay hurdling. But to be honest, what you're saying, that he wasn't actually a bad chaser. I'm not sure why they did decide to come back. I think they probably wanted to try and attempt a grade 1. I didn't think he was good enough over fences, but he had some pretty good form over fences. Yeah. The trip might be slightly short of his best now, but don't forget he beat Call Me Lord over 2 mile 3 and he beat Fiddler on the Roof over 2 mile 4 by 7 lengths last season, so he can't be that slow. And Sean Bowen gets on really well with him. He's had 4 rides on and 2 winners, and the 2 winners was in a grade 1 at Aintree and a grade 2 at Ascot. The handicappers reacted a little bit madly, to be honest. He brought him down in 2 runs from I think 160 to 150 or 158 to 150. But to me, I think he's still definitely better than a 150 horse. I think he's been a little bit harsh on the horse there, and don't think Harry Fry was in the best of form either as well last season. Like I said before, he's got an excellent record fresh, but I don't see how he's an 8-1 chance in this.
No, I see what you mean about Harry Fry. I think last year he moved yards, didn't he? So it's taken him a while to get settled and stuff, but he's definitely having results this year.
Yeah, he started really well, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. So, Harry, have you got a nap strong selection from the weekend?
Yeah, so Royale, I think 11-8 is a silly price at the minute.
Jay?
I was going to say So Royale, but Harry's gone for it, so I'll go your darling. I won't repeat what I said before, but let me just read you some of these quotes from Henrietta Knight. I think he could be top class, as I know the family well. I had been watching the horse all the time in Ireland, but I had a hell of a job getting him. This is as good a horse as best mate. I bought him in Ireland from the same place. And that's a bold statement to make from a horse after winning a Newbury bumper. And she's not soft, she knows the time of day. And Ben Pauland, the trainer who's had like Cheltenham Festival winners and stuff like that. And he's also said after that bumper win, I think he's as good a horse as I've ever had. So hopefully now it is time to start filling some of that potential with him. And I think he's running off like 127 here, so this should be a formality for him, really.
Lovely and confident that, Jay. I like that. I'm going to stick with, obviously, Cyriel. We can't really wade him with that again. Obviously, everyone knows he's going to win and we all want him to win.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Hogan's Height in the Grand Sefton. So that's all. That concludes our Wincanton and Aintree preview. Join us next week when we've got 2 episodes, one for Saturday, one for Sunday. On the Saturday, we will be joined by a former Paddy Power Gold Cup winning jockey, and he's also won the Great Wood. And on the Sunday, we're joined by another Great Wood Hurdle winning jockey. So look out for next week's episodes. All the best.